Okay, here's the challenges of the mechanical seal for the water pump that I run into. Trying to put the new one in after the cover was put on the bike. You can see I kind of really buggered it up, this part of the seal. I removed the seal itself, this part, pulled that out of there, okay? And a little bit of heat applied, very little heat, just enough to make things loose. Apparently there was a bit of an adhesive, I think, or something on there, because it adhered to that. Maybe it was just pressure, I don't know. Anyhow, so these are the old components. This was the oil seal on the inside. This is a comparative part, obviously, as was this and that. That was on this one, on the new one, that sits here. This one's busted, okay? This sits in behind the impeller and the mating surface. There's a name for that, can't think of it. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the old bucket, as I'm calling it. I'm going to put this guy in the freezer and get him as small as I can. Put a little bit of Hylamar Permatex product around the outside edge of that and push that into the cover. Once that's in there and secured, I'll give it a while for it to accommodate temperature-wise to the temperature of the cover. And then this guy will go in. Now you can see these little, if you can or not, yeah, there's these little whatever formations on in this cover and in the seal. It's hard to see that, and I don't have enough lighting here to really make that show up, but there is detents in there. Got to line those up. In it goes, cover on, hopefully, done deal. So I think that instead of needing to buy a new mechanical seal, that salvaging this from the old one, which I really nickered up in the attempt to install the new seal, and using the new seal itself, which will go in there like that, it'll get seated down in, I can put this thing together and it will function as designed, the hope is. Later. Okay, after boogering up the new seal, which I found out after posting on the CX500, a new mechanical seal I'm talking about, I tried to drive one in here that I had purchased and it buggered it up terrible. Posted a video on the CX forum and 500 forum to discover in a response that perhaps this being an 81 CX500 engine, that the mechanical seal I got may have been for an 82, which apparently there was some diameter change in the 82. This opening to accept this seal was a bit larger. So what I did was salvage the bucket, as I'm calling it, out of the original seal that I removed. Applied a little heat and got the guts of it out of there. Threw it in the freezer and shrunk it down a little bit. Used a 3/4 inch deep well socket, set it up here, and tapped right in. So what I'm going to do is put the guts from the new seal, which I salvaged, into here. Now I should put some kind of an adhesive or glue, but I'm still not sure exactly what adhesive or glue would be best to be used here. So I'm going to do a little research on that, get that put in, and hopefully we'll be able to button up this water pump and be able to finish preparing this engine to be mounted. Later. Okay, well, we employed what they call the Shep method for replacing the mechanical seal in the water pump. That was taking the guts out of the new one, salvaging the bucket, as I call it, from the old one, and Used a little Hylamar to seal the new guts into the old bucket. It went in fairly directly. Impeller on, everything torqued down to specs. Done on the water pump. Hopefully everything will function correctly when this engine fires up. So we just still need to put the water pipe on it. I think I need to get a new O-ring for this section here, and we'll check that out. I think I also still need to torque the neutral switch. I think it's just finger tight in. So real close here now, and soon maybe we'll be soda blasting this thing, see how much that improves its appearance. Later. Okay, she's now about ready for soda blasting once the weather permits me to get everything outside to do that. Such a messy job. But a water pump and mechanical seals all installed. Most everything's plugged up. I think we'll need plugged up for keep soda out of it. So it's everything's tightened up as much as I can test and see, and she is pretty much ready to clean up, so she'll be prepared to sit back in the frame. Of course, before we actually do sit it back in the frame, we're going to try and get this bad boy outside and cleaned up. All this area, we got the exhaust set up and cut the Murray's quick build exhaust tubes so that they'll hang the Sportster mufflers that was on this bike when we bought it. We're going to put those back on, so get those all set up. We got the front end to pull back off. It's not on exactly. I don't know if we got a bend tube or what, but we got to get in there and diagnose that. So hopefully grandson will be riding this thing once the real warm weather hits Ohio. Later.